This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2214. 5 tips to manage student loans and what is student loan deferment, both by James Lambridis of DebtMD.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. Now let's get right to today's 2 posts and continue optimizing your life. 5 tips to manage student loans by James Lambridis of DebtMD.com. Dealing with student loans can be a stressful uphill battle. Student loan repayment is a financial burden that can impact your budget and overall quality of life. Follow these tips to help you deal with your student loan debt more effectively. Number 1, take advantage of the student loan grace period. Lenders usually allow a grace period of up to 6 months after you graduate. During this time, the loan doesn't accumulate interest. Instead of ignoring your student loans during this time, come up with a smart payment plan and start paying your loans as soon as you can. Number 2, select a payment plan that works for you. If you don't want to be overwhelmed by your student loans, prioritize repayment. It's better to sacrifice spending now than deal with serious consequences later on. Work on finding the best payment plan that will work for your situation. This way, you can eliminate your student loans faster and with the lowest rates possible. Take the time to explore your options so you can have a more manageable method that aligns with your current earning capacity. Consider these options. Income-based repayment, or IBR. The amount of your monthly repayments are based on your monthly income. Extended payment plan. Your payment time is extended up to 25 years. Caveat, with this plan, you may end up paying more in interest. And graduated repayment plan. You can start paying your debt with lower amounts and then gradually increase the amount every 2 years. This buys you the time you might need to settle yourself financially and handle your debt. Number 3, consider student loan consolidation. If you're dealing with a number of student loans from different lenders, along with credit card debt and other types of debt, repayment can be a lot to handle. By consolidating your student loans, your multiple loans will be combined into one easy-to-remember payment. This lets you better manage your debt and pay on time. Number 4, look into student loan postponement. Student loan deferment or forbearance both temporarily suspend payments. You may qualify if you're unable to repay your loans due to unemployment or face medical bills due to health problems. Understand the differences between deferment and forbearance before making a decision. And number 5, apply for student loan forgiveness. Some programs give you an opportunity to have your student loans discharged or forgiven. If you're an essential worker, such as a teacher or nurse, you may be eligible for student loan forgiveness after working for a certain number of years. The average student loan debt in the United States is at record highs. In total, Americans have $1.4 trillion in outstanding student loans. While college graduation can be a celebratory moment, once the celebration ends, the challenge is in paying off student loans. Proper debt management can help. What is student loan deferment? By James Lambridis of DebtMD.com. Over 44 million Americans are burdened with student loan debt. So if you find yourself struggling with your student loans, you are certainly not alone. Coping with debt can be financially taxing and mentally and emotionally draining. If you're struggling to secure employment months after leaving college and you're dealing with overwhelming debt at the same time, consider deferring your student loans. Learn about the pros and cons of student loan deferment. What is student loan deferment? Paying off your debts on time is always the best option. However, if you find yourself in a rough patch, you might find managing student loans difficult. If you're facing a serious financial crisis, student loan deferment might be your best option for relief. Pros. Here are some of the benefits of student loan deferment. Get a much-needed break from debt payments and an opportunity to regain your financial footing. Avoid loan default when paying off your student loan becomes impossible. And deferment won't negatively impact your credit. Cons. There are also a number of cons associated with student loan deferment. Here are a few disadvantages to keep in mind. Deferment can only be used for a set amount of time. Your payment suspension will last between 3 months to 12 months. That means you'll need to get back on your feet and find ways to start repaying your student loans immediately once the suspension is over. Deferring student loans can disqualify you from getting approved for student loan forgiveness programs. If your loan is unsubsidized, there's a good chance the interest on your loan will increase the amount you owe during the period of deferment. This translates into a significant increase on the balance of your student loan as a whole. And private loans may require certain fees for loan deferment. Furthermore, you may not have an option for deferment if you have a private loan. Alternatives to student loan deferment. In some cases, student loan deferment may not be right for you. Instead, consider these options. Reach out to your creditors and negotiate a repayment plan. You can apply for an income-based repayment plan to work out your debt payment based on monthly earnings. See if you're eligible for student loan refinancing so you can secure lower interest rates and reduce monthly payments. And check if you qualify for loan forgiveness. Some programs grant student loan forgiveness for those who have served in public sectors, such as public school teachers, nurses, and government employees. Applying for a loan deferment can make sense in cases where you're undergoing a temporary setback or financial crisis, and paying off your student loan becomes a challenging obligation. Prior to making the decision to defer, assess your situation carefully. See if you can find other options that may be more beneficial to you. You just listened to the post titled 5 Tips to Manage Student Loans and What is Student Loan Deferment, both by James Lambridis of DebtMD.com. If you have student loans, you're already aware that there has been an ongoing student loan pause in effect for nearly 3 years due to the pandemic. The pause has suspended payments and frozen interest accrual for borrowers with government-held federal student loans, and it has halted all collections efforts against defaulted federal student loan borrowers. The most recent extension is set to expire this summer, and experts suspect that the pause will actually end this time. Reason being that the Biden administration announced it would officially end the national emergency status for the pandemic this May. So without a national emergency, it would be difficult to justify another extension on the student loan pause. While refinancing or consolidating to private loans may seem like a good move if this comes with a lower interest rate, I encourage you to take your time with this decision. Federal loans are typically preferable due to student loan forgiveness or income-driven repayment options. I learned from my friend Travis Hornsby, who founded the Student Loan Planner, that there are really only 2 approaches to student loan debt. Number 1, pay it off as quickly as possible, and this is where refinancing may make sense. And number 2, pay as little as possible and use every trick in the book to maximize the amount of forgiveness you can receive. And that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you on the Thursday show tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.